Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Pipe Time. I am your host, JC. Thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe, like this video, share with your friends, family, aunts, uncles, friends, neighbors, dogs, cats, farm animals. We would love for you to let people know about what we are doing here at Pipe Time. So I am here at the airport. I'm at the observation area right now. I am waiting to pick my wife up. She flies in about an hour or so. So I figured, why not come down here? Why don't we pack up a nice little bowl of let's see, what am I doing today? I'm going to do George's Smoke Shop's Dutch chocolate blend today. And I'm going to be smoking out of my selected natural. This is by far my favorite pipe. So we are going to pack that up here real quick. Probably not going to do a whole bowl because, oh, maybe, I don't know. This one you can get a good hour and a half out of. It's a pretty big bowl. So I don't know if I want to do a entire bowl or not, but we'll see. Probably will, but so let me get this loaded here a minute. Let's see, let me get one of my notebooks. And I kind of use my notebook as a place to put the tobacco. It's a nice flat ground. I don't know, it's kind of windy though, so I don't really want to separate it on there. So I probably won't actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So I'll probably just grab it out of here and pack it up. See, I'm already losing some to the wind. All right, guys. So if you guys have been watching my channel at all recently, you know that I'm a Christian. That is what I base my entire life off of, is following Jesus. That includes my time smoking pipe. That includes pipe time here on my show. And I kind of like to use experiences that I kind of experience during the week to make my content. So I don't really prepare much for these videos. I just kind of wait to see what life brings. And guys, today I have a doozy. Something that has been frustrating me for a really long time. So I posted it on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, and the responses that I got, really just from one, maybe two people in particularly, really got me thinking and really got me frustrated with the state of the church. If you haven't learned already, I'm pretty bold, pretty blunt. I don't shy away from it. A lot of people would like me to shy away from it. A lot of people tell me to shy away from it, but I don't. I've tried and I can't, so I don't. But anyway, so I love like antique shopping. I love going to antique stores. Not only looking for pipes and pipe paraphernalia and different things like that, but we're in the process of building a house right now, and so I'm definitely looking for some antique furniture pieces. I'm looking for some inspiration as well as we begin the decorating process. So I just really enjoy going to antique stores. Now, with that being said, I fully understand that the prices at an antique store are priced accordingly. They are priced as antique prices. They are valuable things. They are worth money. And that is why you go to an antique store. You know what you're looking for, and you know that you're looking for things that may or may not be expensive, but you know, it's expected, right? Buying something expensive at an antique store is kind of expected. When you find a really good deal, it's a bonus, but you're not necessarily expecting that. And so when I go into antique stores, I don't mind the prices. I don't mind how expensive things are. in fact, a lot of the times when I go into antique shops, some of the stuff that I am looking for, it actually is priced really reasonably. I just found this awesome antique curio cabinet that would be a sweet display case for my study. And it was all tiger wood, curved glass. I mean, I would think if you were to put that in a furniture shop nowadays, I mean, it would be several $1,000s. I think it was only $395, right? That is not bad. It's expected. Let me get this lid up here in it. Oh, here goes a plane. Let you guys watch that a second. It's kind of hard to light this out here. It's pretty windy. So I typically use a Zippo lighter, but what I found out is I really go through the Zippo fluid very quickly. So I am looking for some suggestions on a better option. I have heard about the butane inserts on a Zippo. Let me know what you guys think of those. Quite difficult to light out here, but we're gonna get it going. Here comes another plane. I'll let you guys watch this one too. Or that one just took off. Here we go. Okay, so back to the antique thing. Right, totally expected to pay high dollar amounts for things at an antique shop. We have a lot of secondhand stores, a lot of thrift stores around here where we live in Michigan. There's a lot of churches and ministries that have secondhand stores. Now, secondhand shopping used to be fun. You used to find really great deals. You used to find, things that were valuable that, were priced very, very cheap. And that is not the case anymore. It's gotten to the point where these nonprofit ministries that are being run by a church are clearly out to make money, which I guess they've always been, but they're starting to take advantage of people, which is not the church. That is not something Jesus would be proud of. I stopped in a secondhand store 2 days ago with my daughter. I've stopped going to secondhand stores personally altogether, but my daughter wanted to go, so we stopped into this one secondhand store, and I'm not even remotely joking. There was just a basic lamp, probably from the late 70s, early 90s, glass bottom with a ugly shade. It was like the color of my hat. It's just a table lamp. $20 at a secondhand thrift store run by a church. $20. And I'm like, that is not okay. That lamp is not worth $20. It's 30 or 40 years old. And not only that, it's not even a desirable design. And people that are going to shop at thrift stores are not going to want to pay $20 for a table lamp because they probably can't. The idea of a thrift store was to provide people a place to shop that didn't have a lot of money, and then all of the money made went into a ministry. I think churches are missing the point now. They're like, hey, we can make a ton of money doing this. And so rather than meeting the needs of those people in need that want to come to our store and buy things, we're just going to hike up the prices and then make more money for the ministry that this store supports, which in theory is fine. But you're missing the point of shopping at a secondhand store. I'm not going to shop at a secondhand store and pay close to the price of what I could pay in a store somewhere else. I have literally seen at Goodwill prices of clothing priced higher at Goodwill than the original price on the tag of the clothing still on at Goodwill. Now, I don't know who's pricing this stuff. I don't know where they're getting this concept from, but it is not what the church is supposed to be about. And I'm specifically talking about these secondhand stores that are run by churches, where the churches have money. This is just a secondary way to bring in money for them, and they've forgotten their purpose. But I posted this online. I was just shocked. There were several items there. There was a sleeping pad, no word of a lie, maybe this thick, sleeping pad like you would use for camping. And it was not very dense, and it had like a zip covered sheet over it. It was maybe like the size of a sleeping bag width. They were asking $50 for this at a Christian secondhand store. I can't imagine that being much more than $50 brand new. They are missing the point of why they existed in the first place. So I posted this on Facebook with pictures of the items, prices of the items. And I get a response from this person. I know who they are. And they responded. I wish I could flip up and read you guys the whole thing, but they responded essentially saying that this secondhand store is run by a church, and they use the money to pay for other ministries, and be careful about talking negatively about the church just because of your opinion, basically. And to be honest with you guys, I am so sick and tired of people in the church defending a ministry because it's called a church when that ministry is not doing what God has called them to do. When that church or that ministry is taking advantage of people, I'm sorry, I am calling you out. As a believer, as a Christian, I am sick and tired of fake people pretending that their church is functioning as a biblical church. Just because they're doing something and they're meeting other needs somewhere else doesn't mean what they're doing is right. Just because that secondhand store and that church is doing great things, it does not justify what they're doing to get that money. They are taking advantage of people shopping at these secondhand stores, and it is not okay. I am not okay with that. I don't think Jesus would be okay with that. Another airplane. And we have got to stop defending church ministries that are not functioning in a biblical manner. That is how we got to where we got today, where the church is not functioning like a biblical church, because we've accepted things because under the guise of where they're doing good. Just because they're doing good does not mean they're doing God's work. Just because, think about this for a second. If I went in and robbed a bank and I walked out of that bank with $1 million and I walked up and down the street and handed that $1 million out to homeless people, does that justify my robbing the bank? No, of course it doesn't. But that's what these people are saying when they're saying, well, be careful talking negative about the church just because of your opinion, or they're doing good things with that money. I don't care what they're doing with that money. how they're getting that money is wrong. They are taking advantage of people who are expecting to go into a store to pay significantly less than what you would find an item for in a store because they can't afford it or they don't want to spend that much money. And they're marking these things up so ridiculously. I'm not even joking. There was a Sunbeam mixer, looked like it was probably from the 50s, and they were asking $20 for it. There was a old carpet cleaner, clearly used, not very well cleaned out. I don't even know what the value of this thing was brand new, but they were asking $75 for this thing at a secondhand store. Guys, that is wrong. I don't care what you think. I don't care what they're doing with that money. They are missing the point of being the church. We got to get to a point, guys, where we realize that most of the churches that we see today in North America are not functioning like the biblical church. They are not doing biblical things to help other people. We are, in fact, in Acts, it says that the church made sure everybody's needs were met. Some people even sold things so that other people's needs would be met. What these secondhand stores are literally doing the opposite. They're selling things to people in need at an exuberantly high price to meet some other ministry need within their church or elsewhere. Completely opposite of what the Bible calls us to do as Christians. It just doesn't make any sense. Another airplane. I'm not a huge fan of this Dutch chocolate. It doesn't have much flavor profile to it. I thought it did. It smells really strong, but it does not have nearly as much of a flavor profile to it. It is smooth, which I do like, but I packed it in my little case today because I want to work through it and get rid of it so I don't have it just sitting around because I don't really like it. On another video, I'm going to have to show you guys some new pipes that I purchased. Excuse me. My daughter and I went to a antique show at a local fairground yesterday. And this dude was selling pipes, estate pipes, $10 a piece. And I ended up getting 3 pipes for $25. And I'm super, super stoked. There's some different ones I haven't had before. I got my first leather wrapped one. Finding nice leather wrapped estate pipes can be difficult. Either the leather is really cracked or it's very brittle. The leather surrounding this pipe is in excellent condition. I ended up cleaning them up this morning, polishing them up, and I polished the leather and got a nice moisture back in it. And man, it is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to show it to you guys. So ultimately, I don't want this video necessarily to be focusing on secondhand stores and their prices, although that is kind of what initially got me frustrated. What's really frustrating to me is that Christians are justifying their church's actions because it's called church and because they might be doing good things with whatever funds they're receiving. But guys, that does not justify how those funds are being brought in. We have got to make sure that what we are doing also aligns with Scripture, not just meeting the needs of others, but how are we getting those funds in? How are we getting those in? What does that look like? Is that process biblical? Are we being righteous and holy in that aspect as well? Just because we meet needs doesn't mean we're doing what God wants. How many people do you know of or heard that do great things but don't follow Jesus? It doesn't take a follower of Jesus to do good things. And that's why we've got to be diligent in understanding what it is that God wants of the church, what it is that Jesus desires the church to be, and how the church outlines how we should be functioning as a church. We should not have to sell people in need items of that are marked up unnecessarily to meet those needs so we can make money to support other ministries. That seems counterproductive to me. And in my book, Awakening the Sleeping Giant, A Guide to Living Out the New Testament Church, I talk a lot about that, because when a ministry is driven by money, I don't mean mentally driven, I mean literally driven by money. When it needs money to operate, it starts eliminating biblical aspects that don't bring in money, and then they justify their actions because they need the money. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Christians having money. I believe the Bible teaches that we should. I know God knows we need money to survive and to help others. That's not what I'm saying. But how we receive those funds needs to be just as biblical as how we use those funds. And we can't defend our actions simply because the church is doing it. But we have to get back to the biblical roots of understanding what the church is, what were we meant to be doing. And when we understand the church from a biblical perspective, we realize that the church are believers, and church gatherings are meant to equip believers to go out into the world to share the gospel. The church people are meant to help meet each other's needs before we're meeting the needs of others. And so we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves first. And we don't do that.